Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm going to burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you. Toad Stool Sports. It is Monday, March 23rd. First weekend of March Madness is over. I'm not happy. Dude, those 4 or 5 games in the bracket, fuck them all. I don't have any of those Sweet 16 teams. I got 10 out of the 16, but it's mostly all the obvious ones. And then Tennessee at least helped me out a little bit. I mean, that's not the worst, but when everything is really chalky, 10 isn't really that great, but I have 7 of the Elite 8 remaining on all Final Fours, so losing Florida yesterday, but of course, we got the win on the show here with Iowa. I gave you guys Iowa plus the points there, and they got the outright win, so 1-0 on the show yesterday, a nice one, and that's why I tell you, man, sprinkle on the money line, 10.5 spread, I would say probably put about 3% of the bet or so on the money line. It happened. We got it. I will move on to today. Today's a very small board. It's mostly NBA. I'm going to give out one NBA play, and it is ugly. But, that's how we do it here. NBA hasn't been good towards the end of the season, I know. But I think the last NBA play I gave out was a winner, right? It was a big underdog, the Bucks. We're going to have another one, and let's try to get it, man. Let's get into it. Although, I don't know. Is there anything we should talk about with the tournament? I mean, I don't know. Obviously, Iowa was the one, huge upset that we had during that round. Double-digit upset. It was the biggest upset of the round for sure. I don't know if there's much else to say. I mean, there were some complaints about some of the officiating in some of the games. I still think that one call that people were complaining about in the Tennessee game, I think was the correct call. I had the game on. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because I wanted Tennessee to win for my bracket, but yeah, and then the 2 seeds were all able to advance, I believe. All the 2 seeds are alive, which I thought one of them had a chance to go down, which I thought might be UConn in the second round, but that did not happen. Decent setup for UConn, really, to be honest, because they didn't play well in the first game. So, all right, let's get into this. We have one hockey game, which is on NHL Network, and of course, it's a Rangers home game. What else would it be? Ottawa at the Rangers is the one game here. Ottawa on a couple-game win streak here. They just beat Toronto. I don't know if that's really any sort of big deal. They're starting a 2-game road trip here. But they do play Detroit tomorrow, so there is maybe the potential look ahead here because Detroit is a better team. I don't really have much of an opinion on this game at all. Rangers are on a losing streak, of course. What else is new? They've lost 4 games in a row. They played yesterday, so they're on a back-to-back. They did have a couple of days off before yesterday. Lost in a shootout to Winnipeg yesterday. I mean, yeah, I really just have no feel for this game. As far as the market, Ottawa looks like they're getting the money. They're sitting at minus 186 or so on the money line. 65% of the tickets, 87% of the cash on Ottawa. I don't even really have an opinion on the game whatsoever, so that's what we have going on in that game. Just not much to say on it. It's not a game that interests me at all. NBA, we have, I think, 9 or so games here today, starting with Lakers at Detroit, which is one of the better games of the night, maybe the best game of the night. It's an interesting one. Detroit is without Cade Cunningham. We know that, which is why the Lakers are actually favored here. I think maybe that's going a little too far. I think there's some recency bias affecting that line there. The Lakers have won whatever it is, 9 games in a row. They just beat Orlando. They've been doing really well on the road trip here. A couple of games left. I mean, they're not going to overlook Detroit, though, obviously. They might still get up for this game, but we're talking about the Lakers getting towards the end of a long road trip. They're playing, I think this is a 4th game in 6 days, 5th game in 8 days. 6th game in 10 days, all in different cities, which is not that easy to do. Detroit playing okay as well right now. They've won 3 games in a row, but 2 of them were against Washington. They beat Golden State, stepping it up in their last game in a return home spot. They've had 2 days off, staying at home. You know, I think the spot is a little bit better for Detroit, even though they do have to kind of step up in class for this, and they're not totally healthy at the moment. The money is agreeing with me on that, on Detroit here. Lakers are a 2-point road favorite, which, again, I think that's going a little bit too far. I know Cunningham's really good. I know he's not playing here, but to make the Pistons an underdog like that at home, I don't know, it just seems a little bit crazy to me. 63% of the tickets are on the Lakers. Public, all recency bias. They're coming in on the Lakers. 56% of the actual money on Detroit, though. So I agree with it. I would lean to Detroit. The next game up is the actual play I'm going to give out, and it is bad. Nobody's going to like this one, but that's what we do on the show, man. I'm sure nobody liked the Iowa call yesterday either until they won the game and covered wire to wire. The game was exactly what I thought it was yesterday, by the way. Iowa, low scoring. They were in the game the whole time. Looked like they were going to lose towards the end, but we got that 3-pointer. Anyway, big underdog here. We're going to play Indiana, the Pacers, plus 13.5 against Orlando. This is mostly a fade of Orlando here. We're going to need Indiana to give us some effort, which I know that could be called into question a little bit. We're talking about an Indiana team that's lost 16 games in a row. They are coming off a game where they just lost to San Antonio, but at some point, I think you're going to get effort out of this team at some point, and maybe it's going to be here. And again, we're playing what I think is a big-time flat spot for Orlando here. So hopefully Indiana can actually step up for a game, get us a win here. Looking at the injury report, Indiana's got a lot of guys on the injury report. I'm hoping that the majority of them are just going to play here. Siakam, especially, because he's their best player right now. They got a bunch of guys that are listed as game-time decisions, and Wagner is not supposed to be back yet for Orlando. I mean, the reason why we're doing this is Orlando, I mean, yeah, they're on a 4-game losing streak, but they played the Lakers really tough on Saturday. I told you I liked Orlando to cover that number, and they did. They lost the game. It's crazy that they covered and didn't win because they were like 3-point dogs, so pretty good chance if they cover, they're going to win that game, but they didn't. But that was a tough game, man, coming off a game against the Lakers, and they have a huge game tomorrow on NBC and Peacock against Cleveland. So Orlando's in like this playoff sandwich here, basically. So I don't like it. The game's surrounded by much bigger games. I think they could overlook Indiana here, even though Orlando is losing some games recently. Of course, Orlando can win this game without covering. We're getting 13.5 here, 86% of the tickets on the Magic, 57% of the actual money on Indiana. So we're agreeing with the market here, at least for now. We're going to take the points of the Pacers. I understand how ugly it is, but it's all about the spot, man. Zach, what's up, man? Royals, when do they actually start? I don't even know when opening day is. Josh, what's up, man? That's right. You got to take risks, man. I'm doing what works, man. You know, I've been doing this for a long time. Basically, yeah, whatever works, just keep doing it, and you're going to win more than you lose, I would say, if you keep doing it, because that has happened to me. So, Oklahoma City at Philadelphia. The Thunder, I mean, they're going to be a big favorite here. Philadelphia still has nobody playing for them. Their entire lineup is suspended or hurt still. I mean, no change from the situation that they've had for about a week now at the very least. Oklahoma City's won a ton of games in a row. I think 11 games in a row at this point. Coming off beating Washington, not a big deal. But they do have Boston on deck. That is a bigger game. The next, potential finals preview, some are saying there. Even though the Celtics lost at home to Minnesota yesterday for the first time in over a decade, so I'm not happy about that. I did say that I leaned to Minnesota to cover that game yesterday, but I didn't think the Celtics were going to lose as a big favorite to an injured Minnesota team. But anyway, Philadelphia, they have been playing pretty decently. They've won 4 of the last 5 games, but against weaker competition. Oklahoma City is obviously not that. And Philadelphia's returning home from a road trip, so I don't like that. They've been on the road, away for for almost a week, which, it's not the longest road trip, but it still took them out to the Pacific Coast and into elevation. So I don't like that. When a team returns home from a road trip, I will pretty much either fade them or leave the game alone because I think they get a little bit distracted. They have to get back to home life. Now, they shouldn't overlook Oklahoma City, but there's no way I'm going to come in and play Philadelphia here. I'm also not willing to fade them in this spot either. The Thunder are laying 15 points on the road here. 64% of the tickets, 75% of the cash on the Thunder. So a little bit more of the money on the Thunder, maybe because of the road trip return situation for the Sixers. But the game looks basically unplayable to me, to be honest. So I'm staying off of that. Jeff, what's up? Celtics in a look ahead. Because they play the Thunder. Yeah, that was a little bit of a worry, I guess. I still didn't really think they were going to overlook the T-Wolves, but I guess it is a possibility when their best player is not playing. Anthony Edwards not playing in that game. So, yeah, maybe that is what happened. All right, we have a Peacock NBC Sports doubleheader here. The first game is the better of the two, San Antonio and Miami. San Antonio coming up beating Indiana in their last game. They've won multiple games in a row, 5 games in a row. Starting a road trip here. I expect focus out of San Antonio here. It's not really a bad spot for them. Usually a team's going to be focused when they start a road trip. This is the biggest game on their road trip as well. So they should show up for it. Miami, they should show up as well. It's a big game for them too. And they've lost 4 games in a row. But the problem is they're coming off a couple of pretty difficult games against the Lakers in Houston. And they were in Houston on Saturday. So that's a little bit of an issue for me where they're coming off a tough game. They're going to have to put up another effort in a game like this. So I don't have a good feel for this game, but, I can't come in and play the Heat in this one. The market read is saying to take the points with the Heat here. I don't want to do it. The Spurs are a 5-point favorite here. 81% of the tickets, 60% of the cash on San Antonio. So the money is, at least the way the market looks right now, the money is indicating on the Heat side, but playing multiple tough games in a row like that, I can't come in and do that. So that one is going to be, I stay away from that one, but, do with all this information what you want to, of course. He'd have a pretty long injury report, too, right now. So I don't know who's in and who's out for the Heat here, including Wiggins. May miss the game with a toe injury. I don't know. So we will see. Iowa got your money back. Well, did you take them because it was one of my plays? If so, I'm glad to help. All right, we got Memphis at Atlanta. This is an ugly game. Atlanta, they've been winning most of their recent games, but they've had a really, really soft schedule recently. Memphis coming off a double-digit loss to Charlotte. Charlotte is hot right now. Memphis was coming off a close game against the Celtics, so I think it was a little bit of a hangover. That was a back-to-back. Memphis, they're playing pretty much without any of their starters, though, so got to keep that in mind. Will they show up against Atlanta? I don't know. They do have a Western Conference game next against San Antonio, which possibly could be a look ahead, although I don't know if you really overlook Atlanta, who's really hot right now. Atlanta just beat Golden State. I'm still not impressed by this run of Atlanta's here. Really the only impressive win in this entire run here was, was there really any? They beat Orlando. I don't know. I'm not impressed by this run at all. Atlanta's been beating bad teams, but Memphis is another bad team. However, Atlanta does have Detroit on ESPN next and then the Celtics. So they do have two huge games on deck. So I think I would lean to Memphis in this one. Not really a very strong opinion from me, but the money is indicating on the Grizzlies for what that's worth. You got to worry about how motivated they're going to be in a spot like this, though. Hawks are laying 14, which seems a little bit insane. It is a really high total, though, in the 240s. So, the game being higher scoring does help the favorite, give them more of a chance to cover a huge number like that. 55% of the tickets are on the Hawks, 75% of the cash on the Grizzlies. Again, do with that information what you want. I agree with that money. I would lean to the Memphis side as well there, but not a strong opinion from me. All right, well, good to hear. Yeah. Glad to give out one play on the show. One good play yesterday. Charles, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. All right, Houston at Chicago. Chicago, I mean, they really look like they've packed it in for the most part for the season, but you never really know. Maybe they'll get up for a game against Houston. Houston just beat Miami, which was a pretty big game. They do have Minnesota on deck in an ESPN game, so it does look a little bit sandwichy to me. I mean, those teams are a lot better than Chicago, so maybe they do overlook Chicago here. Problem I have with Chicago is they're coming off a big game. They did actually put in effort in their last game against Cleveland, and I believe they covered this number. They lost by 5 at home, so that was a pretty good effort out of Chicago. I don't really want to take them coming off a big game like that, but I think the spot is worse for Houston. Chicago is staying at home with 3 days off as well, so that should help them get over that a little bit too and maybe break the losing streak potentially. I think you will actually probably get effort out of the Bulls in this one. I like the Bulls plus the points in this one. The money not really agreeing with me, at least for now. Minus 8.5 is the number on the Rockets here. 62% of the tickets, 74% of the cash on Houston. But, yeah, I would take the points of the Bulls if I was going to play that game. Toronto at Utah. Toronto having to go into elevation here. Toronto just got absolutely destroyed by Phoenix, which I think I gave out a lean on Phoenix. And that was actually, I believe I said that if I was going to play any NBA game yesterday, it was Phoenix. So I'm kind of mad I actually didn't add that one to my card. I mean, it was a bad spot for Toronto. They were coming off a big game against Denver where they played pretty well, coming out of elevation. And then I don't know. They only had Utah on deck, so I don't know. But I think it was a good spot for Phoenix. Toronto, now they're on a back-to-back, but they got absolutely crushed last night. So maybe they will show up for this one, but still going from Denver down to Phoenix, back to Utah in a span of 4 days. I mean, that's not that easy. They're playing a fourth game in 6 days as well, all in different cities. Utah just playing out the stretch here, so it's kind of a gamble as far as which games they're actually going to show up for. I don't know if this is going to be one of them. I don't know if they're really going to get that excited to play the Raptors here. Utah coming off a loss at home to Philadelphia by 10 in their last game. I don't really have a good feel for this game. The money is saying the Raptors for now, but they're laying 12.5. I wouldn't want to do that. 50% of tickets, 75% of the cash on the Raptors. Yeah, that game is definitely a stay away for me. And you know me, I'm like almost entirely a sides better, but I see nothing in that game really. Tough to gauge the motivation as well, which is the problem with these long NBA seasons, especially this year. It's like all the teams that are out of it are just completely out of it already. Like none of these teams have any chance. And then you have the teams that are going to be in either the play-in or the playoffs kind of fighting with each other for positioning. Yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous. Kyle, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. All right. The second game of the Peacock NBC Sports doubleheader is Golden State and Dallas. Not exactly a great game. Golden State, we know they're pretty injured. I don't really know what the status of Curry is. Let me see. Other than that it gets used in Indian cooking. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like Curry isn't even listed on the injury report, but I think we just have no idea if he's even coming back at all this season. Golden State, I think they're pretty much out of it at this point, so they might just not really have much of a motivation to bring or an incentive to bring him back. Golden State's finishing out a road trip here. It's been a bad road trip, but they might be getting a little bit tired towards the end of the road trip. They're playing a fifth game in 8 days, it looks like, here, in a sixth game in 9 days as well, and seventh in 11, all in different cities, which is not easy. Maybe they're going to show up and try to salvage the last game of the road trip. Dallas just lost at home to the Clippers in overtime, so they put up a pretty big effort there against Clipper team that I think is at least going to be in the play-ins as far as the playoffs are concerned. Dallas, I mean, hosted Golden State. I think Dallas will actually get up for this because it's a TV game. It's a little bit isolated because it's a Monday with not a lot going on. I would probably lean to Dallas in this game. Golden State, 2-point road favorite here. 65% of the tickets, 71% of the cash on the Warriors. It looks like they're probably going to be a bit of a public side, though. But, yeah, I think I probably prefer Dallas, but I really don't love that game at all. Brooklyn at Portland. Oh, God. Brooklyn did lose yesterday. I told you I thought they were going to lose to Sacramento after a big effort against the Knicks the game before that and having to travel out to the West Coast. But I didn't want to lay 6.5 with Sacramento, and what do you know? Sacramento won, and they didn't cover. Sacramento laying 6.5 is just, it's so ridiculous, even against Brooklyn. Brooklyn's now at a back-to-back. They're having to go up to Portland, play a third game in 4 days, all in different cities. They did just lose at home to Portland on the 16th, though, pretty ugly by 19, so maybe they will actually show up for this game just because of that. Maybe that will motivate them a little bit. Portland, and losing to Sacramento is pretty ugly, to be honest. Portland is returning home from a road trip, and I don't like that spot. They've been away for more than a week. They went out to the East Coast, and then they came all the way back. They went to Minnesota, and then they were in elevation against Denver yesterday. They lost by double digits, but they're having to come home out of elevation. Been away for more than a week. Things, have to get done at home when you get home. Brooklyn, very easy to overlook, especially when you just beat them during that road trip. So I actually do like the Nets in this game. I don't think I can actually do it, but if I was going to play the game, I would take the points with the Nets. Portland is laying 15, which seems a little bit ridiculous, even against a team like the Nets. 88% of the tickets, 96% of the cash on the Blazers. I think what you can take away from that is that they will be a pretty heavily public side. And the good thing, if you are taking the points here, is that it is a low total at 219. So makes it a little bit easier for the underdog to potentially come within that number there. I still worry about the Nets being on a back-to-back with travel, though. But I think that is kind of factored into the number. I think the number would probably be a bit shorter. This opened at 13.5. It probably would be somewhere in that range if the Nets were not on a back-to-back. And then the final game is Milwaukee at the Clippers. Milwaukee, I believe, still without Giannis. Again, we don't know if he's coming back for the remainder of the year. They just had a big upset win at Phoenix, which was a winner I gave out here on the show. So I was happy about that. Could be a letdown spot. When a team's coming off a big upset like that, a lot of times they'll be in letdown mode after that, even though they are playing a team that is probably going to be in the postseason in some capacity with the Clippers. Clippers, still, they're better than their record looks because they had such a bad start to the season. They're coming off winning in overtime against Dallas, but they are returning home from a road trip. But it was only a road trip that was Wednesday through Saturday. It did take them to New Orleans and Dallas. They ended a losing streak with the win over Dallas. Got a little bit tested in that game. You could argue they got a little bit of a scare because I assume they were a favorite in that game. So maybe they'll show up with more effort here because they got a scare in that last game. They haven't been playing that well. Ended a losing streak. So some indicators that maybe you will get some effort, some focus out of the Clippers here. But the return home from a road trip, again, even though it's not a long road trip, I still don't love it. You got stuff to do once you get back. Maybe Toronto on deck is a little bit of a bigger game. This game is kind of a tough call. I don't like the game. Clippers look like they are taking money. They're up to 13.5, 75% of tickets, 96% of the cash on them. So the money is indicating on the Clippers. I guess I wouldn't really want to lay points like that in a spot like that. That one, yeah, I'm staying away. And that is it, man. That's what I got for you today. One hockey game and then all the rest NBA. Half-hour show, less than that. We talked about 10 games. Gave out one play, which is the Indiana Pacers plus the 13.5 there. I see the number all over the place. I see a couple of books, the main books actually, with 13.5, and then I see 13, I see 12.5. I see it all over the place. So hopefully there's not really a difference between those numbers once you get into that number range there. But that's the play. Pacers plus the points. Let's get another 1-0 day here, man. Learn to Toad on Twitter. You can subscribe to me there. Learn to Toad on Instagram. The short betting content goes there. Like, subscribe here, man. You get the notifications whenever I go live, which is, at least I'm kind of regular about going live around 9 a.m. Eastern. So, yeah. So do that, and you'll see when I go live. We're on audio as well. We're back on audio. Charles, thanks for letting me know about that. I had to, like I said, it wasn't really, I wasn't banned or anything, but I had to, I think it was from when I had my account on Spreaker incorrectly nuked for bot activity. For some reason, I think when that happened, I then had to go in and I had to manually republish everything to Spotify. So I went and I did that. So it should be back up there. We're on Spotify and Apple and really all the audio. So if you listen there, that helps as well. Give me good reviews over there. Let's get more people listening to the show, man. Tell them I gave you guys Iowa yesterday, I know we haven't been doing that well in the month of March, but, you have downswings in this territory. It comes with the territory is what I want to say. In this business is probably what I meant to say. Covered in Uke is my Uke channel on YouTube. You can check that out as well. Patreon.com/LearnToToad. I know I haven't been keeping up with it. My voice is kind of fucked right now, too, so got to get back to doing more Uke stuff, though. My hand is also messed up from slapping the Uke. That's just the way that it is. I think I have broken fingers, or who even knows. And Losercast will be back tomorrow night with a new episode, so you can check that out as well if you want some funny. Last week's episode was pretty funny. No, yeah, no. If that happens again, let me know right away so I can fix it. Although I don't know if it will be the same issue or not, but I'm kind of surprised that happened because Apple just continued to work, so I don't know. I didn't think I had to manually resubmit the podcast or whatever to certain platforms. I don't know. It's stupid. But thanks for letting me know. That's going to do it. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks to everybody for hanging out this morning, man. Let's boost these numbers, baby. And peace until tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll have the NIT resumes tomorrow with a couple of games, and then there's going to be more hockey. And I think it's a big hockey board because it usually is on Tuesday, and then there'll be some NBA as well. Peace.